Have you ever felt someone slipping away? Maybe an ex, a close friend, or even someone who once showed deep interest in you. One day they were there, laughing, talking, investing in you. And then, just like that, they weren't. The confusion, the frustration, the silent ache of watching someone drift away, it's a feeling too many of us know. But what if I told you? They will come back, not by luck, not by waiting, not by chasing, but by design. The biggest mistake most people make when someone pulls away, most people panic. They chase. They beg. They over-explain, thinking that if they can just make the other person understand how much they care, everything will go back to how it was. But that's not how attraction works. That's not how respect works. And that's certainly not how human psychology works. The harder you push, the further they run. Because people don't come back because you ask them to. They come back because they feel your absence. Not in your pursuit, not in your pleading, but in the silence that follows when you finally stop trying. The power of absence today, I'm going to give you the exact method to make them come back. Not by force, but by power. This is not about manipulation. This is about self-mastery, about shifting your energy away from convincing someone to stay and toward becoming someone they can't ignore. This is about stepping into your own value so strongly that instead of you wondering if they'll return, the real question becomes, will you even want them back? The first and hardest step most people aren't willing to do what actually works. They're afraid of silence, afraid of walking away, afraid that if they stop trying, they'll lose that person forever. But ask yourself this, if someone can walk away from you, feel nothing in your absence, and never look back, did you really lose someone worth keeping? Or did you just finally see their true colors? Because here's the truth. The only way to make them feel your absence is to actually be absent. The only way to make them realize your value is to stop proving it. Are you ready to do what most people are too afraid to? Because this is where everything changes. Stay with me, because this is just the beginning. If you think this is about just waiting for them to miss you, you're wrong. Because what happens next is even more powerful. You're not just walking away, you're leveling up. You're not just making them regret leaving, you're making them wonder if they were ever worthy of you in the first place. And when the moment comes, when they finally realize what they lost, it won't be them choosing you anymore. It'll be you deciding if they deserve a second chance. Let's begin. Step 1. Stop chasing. The power of absence. Have you ever found yourself in the situation where someone you deeply cared about started to drift away? You noticed their replies became slower, their interest faded, and eventually, they just weren't there anymore. Maybe it was a romantic partner, a friend, or someone you were just getting to know. The sudden shift in energy left you questioning, overanalyzing, and most likely, chasing. It's natural. When something we value starts slipping away, our first instinct is to hold on tighter. But this is where most people go wrong. The harder you chase, the further they pull away. The more you try to explain, the less they listen. The more you fight to keep them in your life, the more they resist. Why does this happen? Why does showing care and effort often seem to have the opposite effect? The answer lies in human psychology, how attraction, respect, and value actually work. And the truth is, people don't come back because you convince them to. They come back because they feel your absence. The moment someone pulls away, you have two choices. You can chase after them, proving your neediness. Or you can do the one thing they aren't expecting, disappear. The power of absence is one of the most effective psychological tools you can use, and it has nothing to do with manipulation. It's about positioning yourself as someone whose presence is valuable, so valuable that when it's gone, people feel it. The psychology behind absence and attraction, think about it. When was the last time you truly appreciated something that was always there? The friend who always answered immediately. The partner who tolerated everything. The opportunity you thought would never disappear. It's only when these things are gone that we begin to realize how much they mattered. This is why absence creates value. This is why walking away is sometimes the strongest move you can make. When you chase, you send a message. I need you. My happiness, my worth, my validation depends on you. Whether consciously or unconsciously, the person on the receiving end interprets this as a loss of power and attraction. No one is drawn to desperation. No one is intrigued by someone who is always available, always waiting. But when you remove yourself, when you truly let go, you shift the dynamic completely. Suddenly, they're left with silence where your energy used to be. They wonder why you aren't reaching out. They question if you've moved on. They misjudged your importance. Your absence forces them to confront a reality they never expected. You're no longer waiting for them. But here's where most people fail. They go no contact for a few days, maybe a week. Then their resolve weakens. They check in, send a harmless message, or post something aimed at getting attention. They convince themselves that just a little reminder won't hurt. But every time you break your own absence, you destroy its power. You remind them that you're still there, still waiting, still invested. And just like that, they no longer feel the need to come back because they never truly lost you. True absence is absolute absence. Absence is only powerful if it's absolute. That means no reaching out, no accidental run-ins, no social media bait. You must truly disappear, not to punish them, but to reclaim your own self-respect. To show, not tell, that you will not chase anyone who chooses to walk away. And this is where the principles of Stoicism come in. The philosophy of Stoic relationships teaches us that our happiness should never be dependent on someone else's actions. A true Stoic does not beg, does not plead, does not try to force fate. Instead, they accept reality as it is and act with strength, not desperation. Why walking away is magnetic. This is what walking away does. It communicates without words that you are strong enough to let go. And its strength is magnetic. But what if they never come back? This is the fear that holds people back from truly embracing absence. They think, what if I walk away and they never miss me? What if they move on? But ask yourself, if someone can walk away from you, feel absolutely nothing in your absence, and never look back, do you really want them? Would you really want to beg for someone who doesn't recognize your value unless you're actively proving it to them? The people who truly matter, the ones who are genuinely connected to you, will feel the absence. And even if they don't come back, you won't care, because by that time, you'll have become someone who doesn't need them anymore. Now that you've stopped chasing, something interesting happens. The silence you've created starts to work its magic. You're no longer feeding the other person's ego, no longer reminding them that you're still there, waiting. And in this space, in this absence, they start to wonder about you. But here's where most people get it wrong. They stop at just disappearing. They think, if I just give it time, they'll come back. But time alone doesn't make people return. What makes them come back is realizing that you're no longer the same person they left behind. And this is where your true power begins. It's time to focus on yourself, to level up in ways that make them stop in their tracks and question everything. But more importantly, to become someone so strong, so self-assured, so magnetic that by the time they do return, you might not even want them back. Imagine that. Imagine looking at the person you once chased and realizing that they no longer fit into your world. That's the transformation we're aiming for. That's what happens when you take this energy and turn it inward. Step 2. The physical glow-up, like it or not. Physical attraction plays a huge role in how people perceive you. And no, this isn't about becoming conventionally attractive. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Because when you take care of yourself, when you start dressing better, working out, moving with confidence, people notice. Not just them, everyone. That shift in energy is undeniable. Have you ever run into someone from your past who suddenly looked better, happier, more put together? What was your first thought? It was probably something like, wow, what happened to them? That's exactly the reaction you want. You want them to look at you and see someone they don't recognize anymore. Someone who doesn't look like they've been sitting around, waiting. But a physical glow-up is just the surface. The real power comes from your mental transformation. And this is where Stoicism comes in, the philosophy of emotional control, self-mastery, and resilience. Instead of obsessing over why they left, instead of letting their absence define your worth, you take this time to strengthen your mind. Read more, learn new skills, build something of your own. Do the things that make you feel powerful, independent, and in control of your own life. Because the reality is, People are drawn to those who don't need them. They are drawn to confidence, certainty, a sense of purpose. When they see that you've moved on, not just physically, but mentally, they start to question everything. They wonder, how do they do that? How do they get better without me? And here's where the psychology really kicks in. When someone walks away from you, they expect you to crumble. Maybe not right away, but eventually. They assume that you'll be waiting, stuck in the past, replaying memories, hoping for another chance. But when they see the opposite, when they see you thriving without them, it shakes them to their core. This is how you make them second-guess their decision. This is how you make them realize that maybe, just maybe, they lost something they shouldn't have let go. But let's be clear, this transformation isn't about them. It's not about proving anything to them. It's not about making them regret their choices. It's about you, about stepping into your own power, about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need external validation to feel whole. And ironically, the moment you stop needing their attention is the moment they start giving it to you. That's the paradox of attraction. The less you seek it, the more it comes to you. So ask yourself, who do you want to be when they come back? Do you want to be the same person they walked away from? Or do you want to be someone so evolved, so elevated that by the time they return, you're not even sure if you still want them? That's the mindset shift that changes everything. Because this isn't about waiting for them. This is about making sure that when they do come back, the choice is yours, not theirs. Are you ready to take control? If you're starting to feel this shift, if you're realizing that the real power isn't focusing on yourself, then you're already ahead of 90% of people. Most people stay stuck. They wait. They overthink. They wonder what went wrong. But not you. You're moving forward. And if you want to go even deeper into this transformation, stay with me. Because looking better and feeling stronger is just the beginning. The real game changer? Mastering the art of detachment. And that's exactly what we're going to cover next. At this point, you've stopped chasing. You've embraced the power of absence. You've shifted your focus toward improving yourself, both physically and mentally. You're no longer desperate for validation from the person who walked away. But now comes the real test. Can you truly let go? Because detachment isn't just about removing yourself from their life temporarily. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional grip they have on you. Step 3. Mastering the art of detachment. This is where most people struggle. They think they've moved on, but deep down, they're still waiting. They're still checking their phone. Still wondering if the other person will notice their transformation. Still secretly hoping for that text or call. And as long as that hope controls you, you're not truly free. Detachment is the ultimate power move. It is the ability to be completely at peace whether they come back or not. It is the mindset that says, I do not chase, I attract. If something is meant for me, it will come effortlessly. But here's the problem. Detachment isn't something you can fake. You can't just tell yourself, I don't care anymore, while still checking their social media every night. True detachment is a deep internal shift. It comes from understanding that you were never meant to hold on to anything that isn't actively choosing you. Most people don't realize this, but attachment is what causes suffering. Not loss itself, but the fact that you're still emotionally tied to them. You're still making them the center of your thoughts. You're still giving them space in your mind, even though they've walked away. And that's why you feel stuck. That's why you can't fully move forward. Because instead of living in the present, you're trapped in the past, replaying memories, analyzing every word, wondering what you could have done differently. But the truth is the past is gone. What exists now is only this moment. And in this moment, you have a choice. Do you keep clinging to what left you? Or do you step into your power and let go? Detachment is not denial. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's not about pretending you don't care when deep down, you do. That's just denial. And denial is not freedom. True detachment is about accepting reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. It is looking at the situation and saying, this is what happened. This is what they chose. And I accept it fully. No resistance, no anger, no bargaining with fate, just complete acceptance. And with that acceptance comes an incredible sense of peace. Because when you no longer fight against reality, you become free from its hold over you. A powerful lesson from Stoicism. There's an important lesson from Stoicism that applies perfectly here. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The moment you understand that you cannot control whether someone stays or leaves, but you can control how you respond to it, you reclaim your power. And this is where the shift happens. This is where detachment becomes effortless. Because once you accept that nothing and no one is permanent, you no longer live in fear of losing them. You stop feeling the need to control the outcome. You stop overanalyzing, overthinking, overinvesting. And in that space of non-attachment, you become unshakable. And here's the twist. Ironically, this is also the moment they begin to feel your absence in the deepest way possible. Because up until now, even if you weren't actively chasing them, they could still feel your energy lingering. They knew on some level that you were still waiting. And that gave them security. That allowed them to move on without truly feeling the weight of losing you. But once you detach, once you genuinely stop caring about whether they return or not, they feel it. And suddenly, for the first time, they are confronted with a reality where you are not just silent, you are gone. This is when something shifts in their mind. They start to wonder, did I make a mistake? Are they really over me? The same person who once thought they could come back whenever they wanted, now questions if they've lost you for good. And the moment someone feels they have lost something valuable, they crave it more than ever. This is human nature. It's why we suddenly want things we once took for granted, when they're no longer available. It's why people chase the ones who stop caring. But here's the most powerful part. By the time they realize your worth, you won't need their validation anymore. You won't be sitting around hoping they notice you. You won't feel anxious when they reach out. You won't be waiting for a sign that they regret leaving, because you will have built a life so fulfilling, so complete, that their presence or absence no longer dictates your happiness. How do you cultivate true detachment? The answer is simple, but not easy. You shift your focus from them to you. Every time your mind starts to drift toward thoughts of them, bring it back to yourself. Instead of asking, do they miss me? Ask, how can I improve my own life right now? Instead of wondering, will they come back? Ask, am I becoming the kind of person who doesn't need them anymore? This is the mental discipline that separates those who stay stuck from those who rise above. Detachment is the ultimate form of strength. It doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop clinging to them. It means you recognize that love, respect, and connection should always be a choice, never a need. And when you master detachment, you become truly free. And that's when everything changes. Because now, you hold the power. By now, you've removed yourself from their life. You've focused on your personal growth. And you've mastered the ability to let go emotionally. You are no longer desperate for their validation. You're no longer holding on to the past. You're no longer waiting. But here's where things take an even more interesting turn. Because now you're about to trigger a response in them that they won't be able to ignore. It's time to leverage one of the most powerful psychological principles in human nature. Step 4. The power of social proof. Whether we like to admit it or not, people want what others find valuable. This is why luxury brands can charge thousands for items that cost a fraction to produce. It's why people suddenly become interested in someone the moment they see others wanting them. And it's exactly why your ex, or whoever pulled away, will start second-guessing their decision when they realize that others see your worth. This isn't manipulation. This is simply human psychology. People desire what is desired. They respect what is respected. They notice what stands out. And when you position yourself in a way that shows you are thriving, wanted, and valued by others, something powerful happens in their mind. They start to feel like they made a mistake. What happens when they see you moving on? When they left, they assumed you'd still be there, waiting, hoping, missing them. They assumed they could come back whenever they wanted. But now, they see something completely different. They see you out enjoying life. They see you surrounded by people who appreciate you. They see others showing interest in you, admiring you, wanting to be around you. And suddenly, they feel something they didn't expect, regret. Regret changes everything. Regret for walking away. Regret for thinking you were replaceable. Regret for underestimating your value. Because the moment they realize that other people see what they overlooked, they start to panic. And this is where the shift happens. Because when they left, they felt in control. They felt like they had options. But now, they're forced to confront a reality where you are no longer an option for them, but you're an option for others. And that realization eats away at them. But here's the key. You can't fake this. You can't just post pictures on social media trying to look happy, while secretly hoping they'll notice. You have to actually live this transformation. You have to actually become the person who is thriving. Not for them, for yourself. Because when it's real, they will feel it. And that's when the impact is undeniable. How to apply social proof without looking desperate. 1. Expand your social circle. Go out. Meet new people. Connect with those who bring positive energy into your life. Not for the sake of making them jealous, but because this is what growth looks like. You're no longer someone whose world revolved around them. You are someone who is expanding, evolving, attracting new experiences. To be seen, this doesn't mean oversharing on social media, but it does mean being visible, whether it's through events, activities, or even just carrying yourself differently. You want them to hear about you, not from you, but through the world around them. Because when they see or hear about you doing well, without you ever reaching out, the effect is 10 times stronger. 3. Attract attention from others now. This isn't about immediately jumping into a new relationship to replace them. That's reactive. And true power comes from being intentional. But when they start to see that others are interested in you, something shifts in their mind. They start to feel possessive. They start to feel like maybe they miscalculated. They start to realize that they don't have forever to come back. Because if they wait too long, someone else will take their place. And that fear is what forces them to act. Why does this matter? Some people will say, but if they didn't appreciate me before, why should it matter now? And that's a fair question. The truth is, sometimes people don't realize what they had until they see it through someone else's eyes. It's not fair. It's not rational, but it's how the human mind works. When they see you being valued by others, they suddenly remember why they were drawn to you in the first place. They remember the energy, the confidence, the presence that made them interested in you before. And in that moment, they start to crave what they once took for granted. But here's the best part. By the time they realize this, you will no longer be the same person. You won't be sitting around waiting for their reaction. You won't be desperately hoping they come back. You will be someone who has truly moved forward. Someone who is so focused on their own growth, their own experiences, their own future, that whether they return or not is no longer your concern. And that is the ultimate power. Are you feeling the shift? If you're starting to see how this changes everything, then you're already ahead of 90% of people. Most people stay stuck, but not you, because you now understand something deeper. And this is only the beginning, because while social proof is powerful, it's only half the equation. The next step? Making them feel like they're truly losing you. And that's when everything changes. At this stage, everything is working in your favor. You've stopped chasing. You've detached emotionally. You've allowed social proof to subtly remind them of your value. But there's still one crucial element missing. The realization that they might actually lose you for good. This is the moment where everything changes. This is the moment where their assumptions are shattered, where they are forced to confront the reality that they are not as in control of the situation as they once believed. Step 5. Make them feel the loss of you. People only truly appreciate something when they feel it slipping away. It's not enough for them to see you moving on. They need to feel the weight of that loss. They need to experience the moment of realization where they think, I might have made a mistake. Until that happens, they will remain comfortable, assuming that you're still an option, that you will still be there if they decide to return. Your job? Take that comfort away. How do you do this? The first step is to cut off every possible source of reassurance they might have. Most people make the mistake of keeping a small door open. Even if they're trying to move on, they respond to the occasional message. They keep following their ex on social media. They post things meant to get a reaction. All of these things provide small doses of reassurance that make the other person feel like they still have access to you, even if they're not reaching out consistently. And as long as they feel that, they will never feel the urgency to act. You have to remove that safety net completely. No more checking in. No more indirect signals. No more lingering in their orbit. If they send a casual message, you don't respond. If they view your stories, you don't acknowledge it. If they try to subtly test the waters, you give them nothing in return. This isn't about playing games. It's about making them feel for the first time what it truly means to be without you. They need to sit in that discomfort. They need to experience the silence. They need to feel the void that your presence used to fill. This only works if it's real, if you're secretly still hoping, still waiting, still watching their every move. They will sense it. They will know that they still have a place in your mind. That's why the second step is even more important. You have to actually move forward. Not pretend, not put on an act, but genuinely shift your focus away from them. Because the moment they feel that you're no longer emotionally invested in them, that's when the panic sets in. That's when they start questioning everything. Because up until now, they thought they had time. They assumed they could reach out whenever they wanted. But suddenly, there's no more time. The version of you they once knew is gone. You're no longer emotionally accessible. You're no longer giving them space in your life. And the hardest pill for them to swallow. You are perfectly fine without them. The psychology of loss, this is where the psychology of loss kicks in. People fear losing something valuable far more than they appreciate having it in the first place. It's called loss aversion, the idea that we experience more emotional pain from losing something than pleasure from gaining it. The moment they start to feel like they've lost you, they begin to desperately want you back. They begin to replay old memories, wondering if they should have handled things differently. They start to imagine what it would be like if someone else takes your place. And here's the real irony. The more they feel you slipping away, the more they start to chase you. It doesn't happen immediately, but once they process the reality of your absence, once they recognize that you are not coming back on your own, they begin to shift from indifference to regret. They start looking for ways to re-enter your life, to reconnect, to see if they still have a chance. And when that moment comes, the power is entirely in your hands. But here's where you have to be strong, because the moment they feel like they are losing you, they will test the waters. They might reach out casually, as if nothing happened. They might send a message that doesn't directly acknowledge what happened between you. This is a test. They're trying to see if you are still emotionally invested, if they can still have you without actually committing. You must not fall for it if they reach out with something vague. Ignore it if they don't make a real effort. Don't give them anything in return. They need to feel that they no longer have easy access to you. This is where most people break. They see a message, and immediately all the emotions come rushing back. They think, this is my chance to reconnect, and they respond. But what they don't realize is that responding too soon destroys all the progress they've made. It reassures the other person that you were just waiting for them to come back. It gives them back their sense of control. And once they have that reassurance, they lose the urgency to take real action. You need to make them work for it if they really want to come back. They will make it clear. They won't send one-word messages. They won't play games. They will express genuine effort. Because now, the fear of losing you has outweighed their pride. And that's when you know the shift is real. By now, the balance has shifted. The person who once felt in control of the situation now feels the weight of their own decisions. They've seen you change. They've felt your absence. And for the first time, they're no longer sure where they stand in your life. That uncertainty eats away at them, because deep down, they expected you to always be there. But now, something is different. They see you thriving. They feel like they're losing you. And suddenly, they find themselves wanting you back. But here's the crucial part. How you respond when they reach out determines everything. Step 6. Rebuild connection without neediness. Most people ruin all their progress the moment their ex, or the person who pulled away, finally reaches out. They think, this is it. They finally realize they want me back. And in their excitement, they rush in, eager to pick up where things left off. But that's a mistake, because if you immediately give them the reassurance they're seeking, they no longer feel the urgency that made them reach out in the first place. They slip back into their comfort zone, knowing that you're still there, waiting. And once they feel that security again, they no longer feel the need to truly win you back. This is why you must rebuild connection without neediness. How to respond in a way that keeps the power in your hands first. Don't respond right away. This is where emotional control comes in. when you see that message, when you hear from them again, your immediate instinct might be to reply instantly. Don't. Take a step back. Let it sit. Make them wait. They need to feel that they're no longer a priority in your life. If they truly care, they will reach out again. If their interest is genuine, they will try harder. This is the first test. Are they reaching out because they actually want you back? Or are they just looking for reassurance? Second, keep it short and neutral. No emotional flooding. No excitement. No long paragraphs about how much you miss them. Just a simple, calm, detached response. This sends a powerful message. It tells them, without you having to say it, that you're no longer emotionally dependent on them. You are now someone they have to earn back, not someone who is just waiting to be picked again. Third, observe their behavior. Are they making a real effort? Or are they just testing the waters? Are they consistently showing interest? Or is it just one message, hoping to pull you back in? Actions matter more than words. If they truly regret leaving, they will show it in their effort. If they're just feeling lonely or nostalgic, they will only do the bare minimum. Your job? Watch and see. Let them take the lead. You are not the one initiating. You're not the one starting conversations. You're not the one trying to figure things out. They're the ones who left. They're the ones who must prove that they want back in. If they suggest meeting up, don't jump at the opportunity. Let them work for it. If they want to talk, keep it casual and controlled. If they try to bring up the past, listen, but don't get emotional. They need to feel that you're not the same person they left behind, that you are now someone with options, with confidence, with the ability to walk away at any time. Biggest mistake people make, over-explaining themselves. Most people feel the need to discuss everything that happened, to get closure, to rehash every painful detail. But that's not how attraction is rebuilt. Attraction is built in the present, not the past. The more you talk about what went wrong, the more you remind them of the reasons they left in the first place. Instead, make them feel something different. Show them through your actions, through your energy, through the way you carry yourself, that you are now someone they would be lucky to have in their life again. But here's the most important part. You must be willing to walk away again. This is what keeps the dynamic in your favor. If at any point you feel like they are not giving you the effort you deserve, you must be ready to detach once more. They need to know that if they want you back, they have to be all in. Not half-hearted, not confused, not seeing where things go. You're not an option. You're the prize. And here's where it gets powerful. By the time they truly work to get you back, you may no longer want them. Because now, you have changed. You have built yourself up. You have seen what life looks like without them. And often people realize that the person they were chasing before is no longer someone who fits into their new, elevated life. That is the ultimate victory, the moment you realize that their return is no longer something you need, but something you can decide on from a position of strength. So ask yourself, do you really want them back? Or do you just want to know that they regret losing you? If they come back, will they fit into the life you've built? Or will they only bring you back into the past you've outgrown? These are the questions that matter. Because at the end of the day, the goal was never just to make them come back. The goal was to become someone who doesn't need them to. And if you've made it this far, you've already won. Now you've done the work. You've stopped chasing. You've detached emotionally. You've built yourself into someone stronger. You've made them feel the loss of you. You've positioned yourself in a way that forces them to question everything they once believed about their control in the situation. And now, they are reaching out. They are trying to find a way back into your life. But here's the final, most crucial part. You do nothing. Step 7. Let them come to you. This is the hardest part for most people. After all the effort you've put into transforming yourself, after all the discipline it took to pull away, the moment they start coming back, you might feel tempted to make it easier for them. You might feel the urge to meet them halfway, to speed up the process, to help guide them back to you. Don't, because what happens next determines whether they truly commit, or if they're just coming back out of temporary curiosity, loneliness, or ego. Why you must let them do the work. People value what they have to work for. If they don't have to work to get you back, they won't stay. This is the core of why so many people fall into toxic cycles. Because when someone returns, they immediately open the door wide open and let them walk right back in. no effort required. And when something is easy to get, it's easy to take for granted. That's why you must let them come to you fully and completely without any assistance on your part. What does this mean in practice? You don't initiate. You don't chase them, even after they show interest. You let them be the ones to ask to see you. You let them be the ones to bring up reconciliation. You let them sit with the weight of their own decisions and prove to you, through consistent action, that they truly want to be in your life. Because if they don't, if they expect you to do all the work again, they're not serious, and you are not someone who settles for half-hearted effort. The true power move. Indifference. This is where stoicism comes into play at its highest level. True power is not enforcing an outcome. True power is being completely indifferent to it. If they come back, fine. If they don't, fine. Either way, you are in control of yourself, of your emotions, of your future. You're not someone who sits around waiting for validation from another person. You've already built a life so full and complete that their presence or absence does not define you. And paradoxically, this is exactly what makes them want you more. Why hard to get works? There's a reason people are drawn to those who are hard to get. And it's not about playing games or manipulation. It's about perceived value. When someone feels like they have to work to earn a place in your life, they treat that place with respect. When they feel like they can come and go as they please, they take it for granted. This is why you must hold your position, no matter what. No matter how much you once wanted them back. No matter how much history you have. If they're not showing you through action that they deserve another chance, you don't entertain it. You don't make excuses for them. You don't settle for breadcrumbs of attention just because it feels good in the moment. The ultimate shift in power at this stage. Their return is no longer the goal. It's simply an option. Because by now, you are so self-assured, so grounded in your own value, so clear on what you truly deserve, that you might not even want them anymore. And that is the most powerful place to be. What happens when they finally show up? When they try to talk? When they attempt to slide back into your life? You evaluate them from a place of clarity. Are they truly different? Or are they just afraid of losing their control over you? Are they genuinely wanting to be in your life? Or are they just reacting to their own fear of loss? Because now, you have the ability to see the difference. And that difference determines your next move. How do you know if they're serious? If they come back with real effort, with genuine intention, with a clear understanding that they have to show up differently this time, then maybe, just maybe, you consider it, but only on your terms. Not because you need them, but because it aligns with the new standard you've set for yourself. However, if they come back with hesitation, with inconsistency, with words but no actions, then you already know the answer. They are not someone who belongs in the new life you've built. The final realization: you never really lost anything because while they were gone, you found yourself. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is more powerful than that. Everything has come full circle. You started this journey, feeling lost, wondering if they would ever come back, unsure of what to do. But through this process, you've realized something far more important. This was never about them. It was about you, about reclaiming your power, about regaining your self-worth, about learning to stand tall without depending on someone else's validation. You've learned to stop chasing, embrace the power of absence, build yourself into someone stronger, master detachment, naturally draw them back, not through force, but through undeniable change. And now, you stand at the final stage, where you no longer wait for their return, but instead evaluate whether they even deserve a place in your life anymore. And that is the ultimate victory, because when you start valuing yourself at a higher level, everything around you changes. And now you are free. Until next time, thank you for watching.